Hi, so I'm Keshav. I'm working with Deloitte right now, and I got through ISB's early entry option this year. That is the intake for March 2020. March 2020, yeah. So ISB, I have a bit of a history with ISB. I was rejected to ISB YLP last year, and I already felt that time that I had a good GMAT score, I had a good profile, I had everything going for me, and I still got rejected. Didn't even go to the interview round. Got out of the second round. So it was a big heartbreak for me, and for someone like me, I have usually done the things that I have sought out to achieve, and it was a big failure that I could not do that. And there was some sort of a baggage that I was carrying, and so it became a little bit more difficult because of that. But ultimately, when I sat down with Purvi and we had a lot of those sessions around how to visualize what do the school actually wants, and one good thing about Purvi is that she knows what the school wants. She doesn't have a set template for every school. She knows that ISB is a school that really looks forward for your career achievements and your looks to place you. So if you can place yourself, ISB says that yeah, you are good to come there. So that is one message that you need to give out of your essays very clearly. And a lot of focus in ISB's essays is around the diversity part of it. How different are you? And that diversity, I realized, I was reading online and all I could find was work experience, your family, and if you're a girl, then you are a girl, that way you're diverse. So don't really stick to those traditional themes. And this is what I really loved about Purvi in that second essay, because I could not write a line of the second essay, and that was on diversity, like how would you contribute to the diversity of the class. I was just not able to write that essay over weeks and weeks. My first essay was ready, but my second essay wasn't even starting. So then she sat down and she said, just make a list of what all things diversity can come into. And then there were things like family, there were values, there were beliefs, and those things were there. And we just circled out the things that people won't talk about. So there was religion that I spoke of in my essay, there was family that I spoke of in my essay, there was I think positivity that I spoke of in my diversity essay. So those were things that were completely different. So when I showed my final draft of the essay to one of my ISB seniors, my friend of mine who was passed out of ISB, he was like, wow, this is an awesome essay, and I'm sure you're going to go to the interview round, because the essay was so good. Even when I read it today, it's so different, because you don't really read about religion, spirituality, and say all the optimism in a ISB diversity essay. Most people will talk about their work experience, most people will talk about where they have been in their life, different places. So you don't need to have those kind of values only, but anything that makes you different from the crowd is diversity. So that's about the ISB essays, which are really a fun thing, because the first essay was very clear, short-term, long-term goals, but the second essay was a bit difficult. But eventually when you think clearly, you have what you want to seek in the start, then it's easy. And it has a detailed application as well. So if you need to really very carefully fill out, because when you come to the interview stage, they will question you on each and every hobby that you mentioned. They will question you on each and every interest area, each and everything that you've written in your essay, in your job description. So be very particular while writing those, because I haven't done that. I have not done that because I knew a friend of mine who had written trekking in her hobbies, and she was not into trekking. So she was really scared, because they ask a lot on those things. So be very particular on what you write, and when you come to the interview, I'll tell you, it has been one of the most difficult interviews of my life. Very tough. Like a lot of people were coming out of the interview and they were saying that yeah, it was good, it was easy. But when I went in for the interview, they were just sitting in front of me. I was expecting thoda distance hoga. They were just sitting on my head, and three of them, and the girl in between was just giving me looks all the time. So I was like, oh shit, this is going bad. But they started grilling me on, they said that, okay, what do you like in businesses? You're into consulting, what have you done? Okay, I said NBFCs, this model. Then they said, I'm an investor, pitch me this model. Pitch me how is this different than the other models that are there in the industry. And I was like, where is this even headed? So what I believe they are trying to test is how do you react to these situations under stress, under a lot of pressure. And you just need to be very calm and very composed, and just say that if you don't know something, I told them, sorry boss, I have not read about this thing. However, I say on my essay that I'm good at finance, I don't know about this thing, I'll take that. And you need to be very honest in that thing. And once you do that, that's sorted. Don't really worry about the grilling, but have your answers very, very clearly formulated about why ISB, why do you want to go to ISB, what do you want to do after ISB, which companies you're targeting. Very much the focus is on the placements, A lot of questions will come around. Why do you think you're good for the company? What have you been doing in your current role at your company or in your college? So they ask a lot of questions, and mostly recent questions. So they didn't ask me a lot about my college, unlike other universities, but they were mostly focusing on my job experience, my learnings, and they were trying to grill me on different aspects. And even on my hobbies, I wrote automobiles, and there was a question like, what do you think are the most popular cars that are coming out in India? So if you've written a hobby, you should be very, very nicely aware about it, because they're gonna grill you about it. And one thing I wrote about was my blog. So they asked me, what have you written about, and have you figured in? I wrote about some money flowing back to US. Then they said, have you done this kind of an analysis? I said, yeah, I have done that. So be very particular what you write in your hobbies, what you write in your job responsibilities, because they will grill you a lot on that. And once you don't crack under pressure, I think you're the right kind of a fit for ISB. And if you don't crack under pressure, you will be good in the interview.